Hey guys, I am back with a new video, and I think I should be asleep right now because I have to do something in the morning and like it's 3 a.m. So, yeah, but anyways, let's just get this video started. This is part 3. What if Kakashi adopted Naruto? Yeah. Anyways, let's get to it. Chapter 4. It's okay, little man. Dad's here. When Naruto woke up, warm and safe, the second morning, he was confused. He kept explaining exciting to wake up at the I cannot speak tonight. At that bad place with all the mean ladies and the older kids that were mean to him. The man lying next to him had his arm around him. It felt nice, but sometimes people were nice to him to get him to come near them. Then they will hurt him. They always hurt him. Sometimes they made him sleep outside, but still, he felt so more comfortable. Would that man hurt me? He got out of the bed and stood in the corner so he could watch him. He was hungry. He got cold, standing there alone. He tugged at his weight diaper. The undercontent has rushed, and it hurt. He wanted it off, but his foot trumps wouldn't come off. He pulled at the clothing till he was able to yoink a arm out front, then the other. He tried to push it down, but it was stuck. He gave a while of sensation. Kakashi heard the sounds and woke up. Naruto was not in the bed with him. He looked around the room and spotted him in the corner watching him. He had that look of disgust in his eyes, and his pajamas were half off. "What's the matter, pup? Are you okay?" he asked. "You didn't have to be afraid of me. I will never hurt you." He wasn't really expecting the boy to answer. But he had hoped for some sort of acknowledgement. Sighing in hopelessness and frustrated, he got out of bed, crouched in front of the boy, and said gently, "Do you need a little help?" Naruto looked up at him and nodded shyly. "Off wet," he said, and turned in hopeful away. Kakashi smiled at him and pulled a zipper down. He took off his clothes and the diaper, much to the boy's relief. He frowned when he saw how red and decided Naruto still was. "I think we should stop by the hospital today because it looks real bad." He stirred it with cream and was about to put another diaper when he remembered what he had decided to do last night. He picked up the boy, sat him on his feet, and then leaned him to the bathroom. "Dad's going to shower you now. How to do something that's really cool, and then we will eat. You're hungry, right, son?" His little face light up. "Hungry? Yup." Kakashi was supposed to meet with the Hokage at even at the morning. but after eating breakfast and darling with the chubby, he found himself looking at the clock, which read 9:30. Someone knocked at the door. It was Naruto's new bed. He kept saying, "For me? For me?" It was the first time he had his own bed. It was very small, so Kakashi was able to set it up in his room. As he looked at the now much smaller space in his room, he thought that maybe they should get a bigger place. There was his family's home, but he just wasn't ready to face that yet. He looked over his new pup, running his small hands ruefully over the ninja on his blanket, and smiled. What an awesome little man, he thought. At evening, he's officially all mine. He looked at the clock again. 5:15 now. He still had to take Naruto to see a medic. Oh well, can't be helped now, he said as suggested, and being the long order of getting the chubby to leave the house. He could not wait for the day when Naruto was not afraid to leave the house. He did not want to face the kid, but he was also knew that it was unhealthy for them to stay indoors so much. 30 minutes later, Kakashi walked out of his apartment, tucking his bleeding hand and holding on to his son with the other. The little chubby eyes were red and remained from crying, but he was not happy. He was going to fly with the man and get a new toy. Kakashi leaned a large three-stop hospital. He began to sleep hopefully. He really hated this place. He would much rather to do his healing in the safety and comfort of his own home. But there was no help for it. Naruto came first. The poor little guy was in pain every time he wet himself. He also wanted to have the doctor give him a full exam. The boy had been starving, beaten, and who knows what else he had. He went to make sure he was doing the right things to engage to Naruto. As soon as he entered, he took the chubby off his shoulders and set him down next to him. Naruto gasped as his pants leg and followed him to the richer counter. An older woman was opening the shutter. "Can I help you?" she asked. "I need to see a medic to see my son as he is severe ash." A cute nurse leaned him to a small extending room and told him to put the boy on the table. When Kakashi took off Naruto's hood jacket, she noticed the whisker marks. She fully stopped manually. As she rushed from the room, she waited for hours before Kakashi got angry. She told the boy to wait 1 second and stormed out of the room. Spotted the doctor, his size, the man, and hesitant. "This is such a bunch of crap. You are a doctor, and I demand you to look at my son right now." The doctor knew who was in that room. Everyone did. He screamed, "Now, see here, you cannot face me to look at me, little demon. Are you so sure? You do know who I am, right?" he said coldly. You have to ask yourself, who are you more afraid of, a small 3-year-old or me? Well, the doctor glanced nervously, nodded, to the famous copyman and followed him to the extra room. The little boy was hiding under the table, hugging his knees and crying. He thought the man left him there for this strange place. When he opened his eyes at the speak of the door, his heart leaped in shock. He was back. He screamed out of under the table and threw himself into the man's arms, sobbing in relief. Dad. Kakashi's heart melted when the boy said, Dada. He caressed his head, wiped the tears from his cheek, and said with a itch, I promise you that I would never leave you, pup. I am your dad. You guys know what I meant by that. I'm not gonna say it. He put Naruto on the table and took off his clothes so the princess could look at him. He held the boy the entire time, watching the doctor with a dangerous look in his eye, urging him to do or say anything stupid. The doctor gave him a written list of his findings. Reading through it, Kakashi whispered, "Wish he could have been surprised." Instead, he felt numbed with wanting. The kid was really suffering a lot in this short life. He cramped the paper in his hand and threw it away. He never wanted to read a list like that again. I don't know. I was probably the only person who knew that had been through worse punishment. After getting a shot for some strong cream, they were able to leave, but not before Kakashi swiped a lollipop from the nurse to give to the boy. Taking it to his mouth, he put him on his shoulders and headed towards the Hokage Tower. This was the least he would ever be. He will get your toy when I'm finished with the paperwork, pup. They arrive at the tower. Nearly 3 hours late, the man took the boy down from his shoulders and grabbed his stinky little head. He touched his silver hair, discovering reminders of the lollipop in it, and gave a stomach. Looking down at the chubby, he had a smile, for there was a green dropping down both corners of his mouth. Crumbs in his mouth. The boy pulled Slicker out with a pop and held it towards Kakashi. Dad? Okay. No thanks, pup. Dad will pass for now. He gave a chuckle and led the boy to the door. Everyone kept trying to stop Kakashi when they saw him with the adorable Chubby. Too many of the doorman look turned into disgust when they discovered the boy's identity. The copying was making a small amount of killing intent. And by the time they finished walking through the building and reaching the Hokage office, he had to stop and breathe deep several times to gain control of himself. He was scared. The poor kid. He just wanted to get adoption papers. Wait, hold on. I think I lost track. Hold on. Give me a second. I think I lost track. Hold on. I'm looking for it. Found it. and reached the Hokage's office. He had to stop the breath. Oh yeah, okay. Found it. He was scared for the poor kid. He just wanted to get adopted papers and get the hell out of there. He got a sudden hobo shaking feeling when he walked into the office with the boy in his arms. The mention from the organization and several council members were standing around clearly waiting for them. Sorry, we were late. I had to take Naruto to the hospital. He had a terrible rash, which was clearly caused by inject. He said, giving the woman a dirty look beneath his mask. Don't you dare blame me. All children get rashes from the time to time. He huffed in a voice. A rash so bad A rash so bad it got affected? I don't think so. He should be able to use the toilet by now. Instead, he was wearing a diaper that was obviously dirty for a long time. That is called ejectment. And he has been done nothing to deserve such horrible and resentful treatment. Kakashi was yelling by the time he was finished saying what was on his mind. Well, she certainly, honey, I took it into it when I take the boy back with me. Kakashi's face turned white. He turned to the Hokage and stared at him in disbelief. What's she talking about? He asked in a deadly whisper, hardly directing to believe what he just heard. Kakashi saw a deep sadness releasing in his eyes before Shinotobi lowered his head. His hat seared his eyes, shouting his eyes. He folded his hand in front of him and said regretfully, the council was rejected your adoption attempt. They feel that you are too young to such a huge responsibility set on your shoulders. The copy then hugged the boy in his arms close to himself. Naruto was sensitive to the emotion of people around him. Knew his arms around Kakashi's neck, the burn his neck and his shoulders. He knew something bad was happening. He quietly, uncomfortably, and gave a soft whine. The sound ejected him. How dare they scare my son like this? How dare they even presume to take my son away from me? There's no way fate could be like that cruel. You cannot be serious. You cannot take me away from. You can't take him away from me. I can take care of him. I'm not too young for this. I've been killing for this village since the age of 7. I was too young for that responsibility, and he was starting to move. I felt it like the worst nightmare he had ever experienced. He had only spent 2 days with the boy, but he had a bond with him. He thought, why couldn't they see the harsh this can cause us both? I can't let him go back to the hellish place. He can't take much more. Koshi harshly reminded him. It has nothing to do with your duty as a shinobi. You were a trained killer, not a father. Shinotobi looks suddenly at the council member. All of us is in this room are trained killers, and some of our parents too. I believe Hatake is good for the boy. Danzo stepped forward and said madly, "You have always been too soft for Ruzan. I think I should take the boy. I capable of protecting him and the demon inside of him." He gummed it at Kakashi then and said suddenly, "It doesn't matter that you feel that your actions were justified. You're attack an unnamed civilian. You know the shinobi lost, Hatake." Not Kakashi bashed. There was something off with this man. "That is the real reason why you are denying me, isn't it?" He did not like Danzo at all, and thought that Naruto would be even greater danger if he went to him. "You're not even a member of the council. Why are you here?" he snapped. "Watch your tongue. That's none of your business, kid." Kakashi was about to respond, but the Hokage interjected. "This was getting us nowhere. We need some time to review all the formats and discuss what must be done. You cannot allow Naruto to back to that place. It would be heartless. You know he wouldn't be safe there." He started at the mention of he said that. She glared at him. "Let him stay with me, please, Lord Hokage." The other elder, Homa, moved forward of the knit and said, "No, not till we have finished our injury. He will stay at the orphanage till we make a decision. You are soundly forbidden from entering the please. You have already attacked that poor woman once. Need I remind you that she is a civilian? Shinobi in this village are protect our people, not insult them." The Hokage slowly stood up, walked around his desk, and put his head on Kakashi's arm. "Gally," he said, "there is nothing you can do about this now. You must let them take him. I swear to you that I will do what I can." "But who will protect him? Who will care for him?" he asked almost to himself. He then shook off the Hokage's arm and stood over the desk, sitting Naruto on it. He unbuttoned his overalls and took off his shirt. He said not a word to anyone as they watched him nearly finish and turn around and spotted the naked boy. "Look at him, every one of you," he dimmed. "There is no business or no cuts. Nothing except this rash. Now, look right here," he said, pointing at the boy's back. "See that scar? This is one when he lifted Naruto's arm up. This one too. He had 5 broken bones already at the 3 years old. Those are no accidents in 1 week time. Whenever I get him back or not, I will be inspecting him. If I found so much as a scratch on him, or that his rash has not been taken care of, I will show you all why I am listed in nearly every hidden village bingo books." Danzo became a Johnsley and Stanley and stepped forward. "Is that a threat, Hatake?" He responded harshly. No, that's a promise." Kakashi realized the boy bruises his wishy hair off his forehead, kissing him on the head, and picked him up, and then relaxed his gaze at the Hokage and pleased to near whisper one more last time, "Sir." Please, Mr. Scare, don't do this to us. The Hokage just turned away to feed murmuring and nodded to the civilian woman. The mention of the orphanage grasping Naruto from Kakashi and tired to take him out of the room, he reached out and grabbed the Jonin's vest in a death grip, then gave out a terrifying high-pitched scream. He ached his back away from the woman and tried to get back into Kakashi's arms. "Dad, no, Dad!" he cried. Kakashi checked his fist, feeling so helpless and angry. The woman put his finger from the vest and stepped back from the copy's neck. Naruto held his arms out and begging for Kakashi. He began to trash when she walked away with him towards the door. Panicking, he kicked his legs, screaming and lashed out. His fingernails dug deep, bloody goring in her cheek, while his teeth caused similar injury to her arm. She dropped him on the floor, surprised of the plane. He quickly dashed away from her to Kakashi and suddenly him tight. "Dad!" Kakashi picked him up and whipped his arm protectively around him. He rubbed his back gently, then looked at Hiruzen firmly. "You see, this is so wrong. How could you allow him to do this to him?" "I'm sorry, Hatake. You cannot do anything about it for now. You need to let her take him back to the orphanage," said Hiruzen regretfully. He knew it was wrong too. He avoided to himself to do something about his quickly in response, but his hands were tied at the moment. After he was able to calm the boy in his arms, Shinotobi grabbed everyone and left him alone to say goodbyes. He stand with him in the chair. After this small body next to his cried, Naruto was so scared and helpless. All he had ever wanted to do was to protect the boy. He never in his life would ever imagine he could love something this much and transfer everything he had ever felt before, and wrapping the pain in his chest made it difficult to breathe. He had to say something but didn't want to be a goodbye. He had to say it in his heart. He took a deep breath and then found the right words. I'm so sorry, Minato. I failed you again. I couldn't prevent your death, and I couldn't protect your son." Kakashi scrunched his face in shallow and tired vanity to hold back his depression. "I should have known better. I should have known that I'm too trained." He pulled the confused boy close to him, pulled him down his mask, and kissed his forehead. "I didn't know if it's wrong, but you feel me feel hopeful that I can actually have a future. I will find a way for us to be together, I promise. I just want you to know before I leave. I will find a reason to challenge whom I used to be and start over new. I started to see who I was meant to be. The reason is you. You have to go with that lady, son. I will not let you down. I will come for you, I promise. I will find a way. Don't be afraid, okay? It will not be for long. Don't give up while I work it out." He had the Hokage returning. He kissed him one more last time and said, "I love you, Naruto. Goodbye." When the door opened, Kakashi was ready to hand the child to the Hokage without a word and stared in his eyes, not noticing Shatobi was about to say something. But before he could, the copy's body flickered out the building. Shatobi held the crying boy in his arms with a great tears. He felt older than he had ever felt before. The weight of the world seemed to settle on his shoulders. He called the mansion for the orphanage to come in and warn her. Take good care of this boy. I do not know what your plan is, but I must inform you. It will not work. The Hotake boy is the best person to raise this child, and I will do anything in my power to see it happen. Kakashi informed me to carelessly regaining his attack on you the other day, and now that I've seen the scars, I can't help but think he was telling the truth. There were so many people who worked there. I have nothing to do with it, but I will look into it. See, that you do, he said in disbelief. The woman's words. I will have 2 Ambo escort you safely back. They will be staying out to protect the boy, for a while. I will not allow him to be hurt again, and necessary on the anniversary of the QB attack. After she left, he sat alone in his office for a long time as he pulled out a crystal ball and watched the boy taken safely to the orphanage. The Ambu that carried him did not have an easy time of it. As the boy cried and thundered the whole way, he fell asleep in exhaustion. By the time they arrived, he wasn't put it away before the child woke up. He had not wanted to witness the boy's reaction when he realized where he was once again. He felt old and tired at the moment. I think this is where I'm gonna end it. And let me see real quick. Let me double check. Yeah. Thank you guys for 100 subscribers, and yeah, I will see you guys in the next video. Like and subscribe, and see you guys. Bye.